Hey guys, welcome back to another Heart to Heart. I should have titled it Heart to Heart. I forgot. I skipped a week last week, so I kind of got a little rusty. So excuse me, but I'll probably fix the title again. I always change the title when once I have finished the video, and sometimes we entail a few other things that were not on the title. So sometimes I even change it that way. But I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone had a good weekend, a wonderful Mother's Day. The title of the video sounds a little macabre, I know, but it really isn't. It's just kind of reality, isn't it? Kind of life. But let me see if anybody has joined me in the chat. Let me know how the stream is too. The internet hates me, absolutely hates me. I had an auction last night on Facebook. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. My daughter just brought me one of the foods we're going to talk about. I had a auction last night on Facebook, and I had to turn it on 3 times. It was crazy. Have you guys experienced any of that? Do you do any kind of other live streams? Because it's been awful. I don't know. A lot of people experience it because I do watch other Facebook auctions. And I watched one today in the afternoon, and he was saying that he also had to restart several times. So I don't know, but they even asked me to download Firefox, which I have not used Firefox since, I don't know, the early 2000s. I didn't even know it was still around. But I'm doing that. I did, upgrade again on this Mac, upgrade the software to, I don't know, Sierra. It's always got some mountain range or something that I updated to. It took about 18 minutes. Maybe that'll help. Let me know how this stream is going too. My other stream was kind of choppy too, though. But anyway, let me see who's here. Hi, Yaswell. How are you? And Kathy and Jude, Lisa Nora, Kathy Allen, and Lisa Robertson. So I'm trying to send out invoices for my auctions. And yeah, even PayPal is hating me right now. It wouldn't even let me send out an invoice. First, it was not letting me print. Now it's saying we can't show you this right now. There's buffering, there's spinning. So much craziness. What is going on? Hi, Miss Teresa. But one thing that never changes is what we're going to talk about. Family, food, funerals, friends. What else did I put on there? The reason I was thinking about talking about this, and it can be depressing, but it doesn't have to be. It's depressing anyway, right? Whether you talk about it or not. But I was commissioned, or I have been commissioned, probably a total of 3 times to write an obituary. So just most recently this month or last month, I did write one. And, I love to write, but that's the worst kind of writing you want to do, right? I actually had to look it up, even though I've written it before, but I kind of just, brushed myself up on what exactly goes into an obituary. And they say you start with date of birth, place of birth. You can go on to a profession, but you don't have to really get too detailed. And then you put the survivors and preceded in death, whoever may have passed before that person and whatnot. So I did have to follow that outline, and we did it. I did it in about an hour. I had to get some facts straightened out and everything, and we got everything polished up and ready to go. But it's very difficult to do because, the person wants a certain thing mentioned, and then they keep telling you I wanted to keep it in a page so that it could be, printed and ready to go, and if literature was ready and so forth. So we did. Person wants to add, okay, well, not only were they married to me, but they were married so long. And then, well, should we mention every wife and every grandchild? And then, it's too many. So you have to just put 20 grandchildren or 5 grandchildren, whatever it may be. But that got me thinking about, not only was I looking at the outline, then I went and looked at like a famous person, right? Actually a politician. And I noticed that the family was not even mentioned. The family was not even mentioned in that obituary. And it may have been, because I think it was probably 2 or 3 pages, but it certainly wasn't mentioned in the first paragraph or 2. And I thought that quite interesting. So the more professional you get, the more, what do you call it? I guess the more of a luminary that you are, the less your family matters in the public's eye. What do you think about that? I thought that was quite interesting. I had never noticed that, but I noticed that in common man, everyday Joe, you look at the obituaries, and they're very expensive now, guys. They are $500 to print in a newspaper, at least in our local newspaper. $500. And I'm thinking, my goodness, nobody even reads the newspaper anymore. Everybody says it's all fake news, right? Who reads the newspaper? Do you guys read the newspaper? So yeah, $500 for a simple, I don't remember how many characters. I guess you might say 500 words. I'm not sure, but that is a lot of money. $500 to print something that very few people will read, honestly. Just your family wants it, right? So I thought that was an interesting thing that I noticed, that yeah, the famous people don't even talk about their family, or I guess they feel like, they're so famous, you would know that this politician was married to, Mary Smith, and then their sons became senators. I don't know. A luminary is someone who's very, very famous, lauded for some reason. Like, let's say, a most recent one, the one I read, was George H. Bush. He would be considered a luminary. I mean, he was a very famous politician. He accomplished a lot. He served in the war. He was shot down from a plane, and many people didn't like him, but he was nonetheless a luminary, correct? Yet an author friend, famous, passed away recently, and publicists had one public obituary. No family. That's what I'm saying. No family was part, if the proof of death, like a legal document. Yeah. When I was an executor, the obit in the paper was part of the proof of death. I never even knew that, Mary Pelletier, that it was actually a part of the record. Interesting. Hey, Miss Kathleen, how are you? Yeah, it's not a fun task. I wrote my father's obituary. I didn't really write an obituary, but I wrote a poem for my sister-in-law, who passed, I believe, about 5 or 6 years ago, and very younger than me. And I wrote a poem about her and just kind of family and how she touched us all. And I read that at the service. But the obituary was definitely something that I found quite interesting. And I kept thinking, wow, when do you get to the point where you don't mention your family? Because your family is such an integral part. And then I thought it was a little suggestion in there as well, when I looked it up on, I don't know where, Wikipedia or somewhere, that people suggest that you write your own obituary. And I thought to myself, I'm going to ask, I think I asked my sister what she thought about that. She just looked at me like, she didn't really want to tell me what she thought about it, I think. What do you guys think? Because I don't think it's a bad idea. But then I told her, I said, but would it be like bragging, like you're bringing up your accomplishments, or you're bringing up what you think is important? Or would it be more heartfelt? Or, I mean, and you're not even there, right? So you don't know. But would it be more sincere, more respectful if someone that loved you wrote it? I don't know. Or then again, it's a burden too. It's something that's really hard to do. You think it's a great idea, Jude? So I'm thinking about that too. I thought it was a good idea too, because then maybe they would realize what was important to you. Maybe, they might have thought that mentioning how many years you taught high school and how many volunteers, jobs you had. Maybe you thought that was important, and maybe you didn't think that was important. Yeah, they can always fix it and tweak it. That's true. So I'm thinking of doing that. I really am. I mean, why not? Why not? I think it would be a good idea. I wanted to kind of put it out here to see what you guys thought, because my sister just kind of agreed with me, and she kind of agreed with me the other way. She didn't want to disagree with me. Because I said, I think it might be a good idea. And then I said, but do you think it sounds like it would be bragging or something? If, so she agreed both ways. So I know you guys are honest with me about it. Your dad has written his own, and he's 95 years old. That's amazing, Miss Quigley. That is a wonderful idea. Yeah, just like pre-planning too. My brother-in-law had everything planned. He even picked out the casket, and I don't know who was complimenting the casket or mentioned something about it being such a beautiful color, very elegant and whatnot. And yeah, it was noted that he picked it out himself. Yeah, very, very interesting. 95. Wow. Yeah. Hey, Miss Lori, how are you? And then we were visiting with friends and family throughout this whole ordeal that I've been through for what has it been? Within 6 months, guys. 3 funerals. And I have a very ill aunt as well. So we were visiting some folks, and we were talking a lot about foods and foods that we had when we were children and foods that our mothers made and that their grandmothers made. And one of them was kind of like a noodle soup, and my cousins were talking about it. And then actually my aunt was telling them to make it. They had gotten together, they were going to make this soup, and they were talking about making it. Before they turned around and finished chopping up the bell peppers, my mother had already gone to the stove and started everything up. And they were like, please, please have at it. Just finish it. You're such a expert. And then one of the in-laws, that one of the husbands started videotaping. He's like, I'm going to videotape this because she never makes it like this. And this is so good and so forth. So that was fabulous. And then another food that we ate like all day that day. Another food that we all enjoy so much, and you're going to laugh, but a lot of people have this not just for breakfast, but for a midnight snack, or in our case, a 8 o'clock snack, 8 p.m. And that's cream of wheat. Cream of wheat made with cinnamon and vanilla. And then my cousin served it with some toast, just buttered toast. And it was just so amazing to sit around and eat our favorite comfort foods of childhood. It was just crazy. But we bonded, and we had, just a really, really good time doing that and talking about recipes and what we add and what we don't add. Like I had never had it with toast. And then the soup we had never had with cornbread. They have it with cornbread. So it was really, really wonderful. I love cream of wheat too, but I cannot make it. And that's what we were videotaping, my mother making that and the soup. I cannot make it. Mine always turns into a big lump of junk. Unbelievable. So only my mother can make it. She stands at the stove. That's why she doesn't move. She doesn't look anywhere else. She's just standing there stirring. So there are no lumps. And that's why it's so darn good. So we really, really enjoyed that salad. We just ate all day because we got there like at, 10 in the morning. We didn't leave till about 10 at night. So we ate all day and we talked about our favorite foods, and it was a really, really good time. You've never made cream of wheat? Don't even try it, Liz. Don't even try it because it's not that easy. Some of the most simple foods are not that easy to make, but I do love the cream of wheat. And you plan to write your own? That's a good idea. I'm really starting to like the idea of writing your own obituary, honestly. I'm an oatmeal gal. I love oatmeal too. I do. And I actually tweak my oatmeal once in a while. I've watched recipes here on YouTube where they'll add a little slab of butter. I have never had it with butter, but I always add cinnamon. I make it with half milk and half water because I really like that creamy taste. So I love oatmeal too. And I probably eat it much more than cream of wheat because, like I said, I don't know how to make cream of wheat. It does not come out good. But my mother's was so amazing. And I kept saying, oh my gosh, it's so good, Mom. How did you do it? And my sister turns around, she goes, she did it with love. That's why it was so good, because she made it for her sister. And that's true. When you make something with so much heart and so much thought, I mean, you know how it is. You go in the kitchen sometimes, you're like tired, especially when you come home from work and slap things together. What did I burn the other day? I forgot what I burned. Was it rice? Oh, yes. I tried to make rice and I burned the first batch because I was in a hurry. I was trying to get everything done. And it was just, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to cook because we had the food. And, we've been buying a lot of food because of this emergency. And then I'm like, well, now I'm stuck cooking home cooked meals because I bought so much food and my heart wasn't in it and I burned it. So yeah, definitely. No, it makes it not be weird and sticky. So what are your favorite foods, guys? Do you remember some of your favorite childhood foods or from, your moms that made just for you that were so special? They weren't anything fancy or anything, but they were really good. That's one of the ones. And then my sister and I were also talking about when we'd go to school. We were in elementary school. I think I mentioned it to you guys before. My mother would drive probably 60 miles, 50 miles to take us to a Catholic school. And we'd always be in a hurry because I'm not a morning person, never have been. I would actually sleep in my uniform, in my little girl Catholic school uniform with the woolly skirt and the little starchy white shirt and all that. I would sleep in it so I wouldn't have to get up so early to put it on. But she would make this concoction. She would get a little glass, plastic tumbler or something. She'd slice bananas, put milk and sugar. So it was basically a smoothie that wasn't smooth or cereal without cereal. And we loved it. It was our breakfast. It was fabulous. Honestly. Pot roast? Oh, pot roast. I love pot roast. I made one the other day. Didn't even have carrots, but it still came out really good. What did I put? Just onions and potatoes. But I normally put a little slice of carrot in there for sure. Banana sandwiches. Oh my gosh. I love those too. My mother eats just banana sandwiches. I do the peanut butter banana sandwiches. I love those. Homemade biscuits, butter, and brown sugar. Oh my gosh. I want to learn to make homemade biscuits. I watch video after video after video, and they just crumble that thing up, and they tell you what kind of consistency it should have. And I feel like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I know I can do it. The closest I've gotten is I did make the fried biscuits that one of the YouTubers did on here, and it was pretty easy. And you kind of make the same. You make the dough. It has the same sticky feel, and then you stick it. You drop it in a what do you call it? A skillet with hot grease, and it just it's perfection. But I want to bake my own, most definitely. I really, really would love to even try to make a biscuit. And I've made like yeast rolls and things like that, but biscuits, they have this little stigma to me about them. Like, I won't be able to do it. I'm scared. I don't even want to try. But I watch those videos religiously. Your grandma would have brown bread toast with honey and pickles. Oh my goodness. Sounds weird. Oh my goodness. Nothing sounds weird to me. Have you guys ever tried apple pie with a slice of cheese? I used to have that. We used to have it at Walgreens when Walgreens used to have a counter. And that was my favorite thing after a couple of patty melts or something, to have the apple pie with a slice of American cheese melted. It is perfection. And I have seen it mentioned in an old book. I don't remember who wrote the book. Some kind of, I don't know if it was Billy Graham or somebody, but I was reading it and I was like, my husband was reading it and he said, look, he's talking about apple pie with melted cheese. And I was like, really? Very few people have heard of it. Yes. Isn't it the best, Kathleen? I love it. So those are some other ones. My mother's, it seems like, she makes wonderful things, lots of chicken recipes and everything, but it's the little things like the little breakfasts that I remember that weren't really breakfast, I guess, but they were just good. And like I said, that cream of wheat was the best. We were all just oohing and ahhing, and I think my cousins told her, make like a double pot because I'm going to take some home. And we were all sitting around there like we were eating cream of lobster, or what do you call it? Lobster. What am I thinking of? What is that creamy lobster bisque? That's how we were oohing and ahhing over it. Incredible. You make the best apple pie from scratch. Oh, I'll bet you do. My middle daughter did take a really good course in high school. I think they called it nutrition. They don't call it home ec or anything like that anymore. And she learned to make apple pie and cherry pie. And she occasionally surprises me with a cherry pie because I do love cherry pies as well. And she makes them really good with the crust from scratch. Mm-hmm. Now, right now I'm drinking the iced coffee that I talked about the other day, and I'm going to share it again for those of you who didn't see the video or wherever I mentioned it. But a lot of people are talking about that whipped one that's going around where I don't know how you You mix something and then you mix the instant coffee and it turns into like a thick, frothy. Somebody even said a peanut butter consistency. One of my cousins said, yeah, it's like a peanut butter consistency. She tried it. But no, this one is just this morning's coffee that was left over in my pot. Of course, I took out all the grounds so it wouldn't be bitter. So it was about that much coffee, and I did make a lot more. My daughter just brought me some from the fridge. But it was about basically 1 part coffee, 1 part creamer. And I did get the Coffee Mate creamer. It was the sugar-free, which I couldn't even believe. They accidentally brought me the sugar-free. I guess they substituted or something. So 1 part creamer, 1 part regular brewed black coffee, and then about 2 tablespoons of Nescafe dried instant coffee. All right. Start with that. Then about 2 or 3 drops of vanilla extract. And then a pretty good, I would say, a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then probably not a teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of sugar, ground sugar. Refined sugar, whatever it is. And then I added some ice cubes just to be able to shake it up a little bit. Shook it up, and I drank one this morning, and then I had enough left over for another serving right now. And then you just add the ice. It tastes even better when it gets watered down. But this is like the best iced coffee that Starbucks serves. Honestly, I really do like it. But I got it just from watching, where everybody was talking about that new whipped coffee or whatever. And I haven't watched a video yet. I just started to watch one from this really cute girl that I watch here on YouTube. But she kind of does a lot of rant videos. So she was ranting and kind of yelling. I didn't really want to watch the rest of it, but I heard her say Nescafe. So that's what I started with. And then I did the creamer, like I said, half cream, half coffee, ice cubes, sugar, cinnamon, vanilla. Amazing. Amazing. You were given that. Oh, all I can say is that you were given that talent. I'm so very excited and very grateful that you did my daughter Jackie's obituary, our father's obituary, now my husband and Annette. Thanks for conveying what I wanted to be said. Oh, my darling sisters in the chat. I love you, Patsy. Thank you for saying that. I know she's never watched my videos. I think she's watched one like 4 years ago. Thank you so much, guys. That's my sister there, Patsy Sanchez. And now you meet all my wonderful friends here on YouTube, Patsy. They're amazing. Miss Kathy Phillips was just asking about you in my auction, so I'm so glad you're here to say hello. Yeah, I was just talking about all the foods that we ate over the weekend and how much fun we actually had, though it was a very sad day for all of us to visit a very sick aunt of ours. And we're very close, guys. We're very close to my aunts and my uncles, and I'm lucky that way. I'm so lucky that way to have such a close-knit family. And yeah, we have our disagreements and so forth, but I'm glad that we are really, I think, getting even closer and closer as we get older. Hi, Miss Vanessa. That's Vanessa in the chat too, Patsy. I've talked to you about my beautiful friend Vanessa as well. So thank you guys so much. Yes, I forgot about writing Jackie's obituary. That's right. That was a long time ago, and I did write hers as well. Yeah, they are not easy to do at all. But I think it's kind of like cooking too, when we're talking about and cooking from the heart. I think that the words come. Somehow or another, the words will come. Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you guys for being so sweet. I do appreciate that. But yeah, that's what we were going to talk about today. It's all just a big ball of life, though, isn't it? Isn't it? Just remembering the good times, saying goodbye to the ones you love, and even remembering them in the foods that they enjoyed so much and passing them on. We were really lucky, guys, that about, what was it, Patsy? About 10 years ago, our cousin Mandy decided to write a family cookbook. She ran with the idea. Many people had talked about it. She ran with the idea. She executed it beautifully. I wrote the introduction. We all contributed recipes, and they weren't all, family traditional recipes. We did have those as well. We had the flour tortillas, tamales. We had green bean casserole. I had a mango salsa in there, and Rocky Road chocolate bars. But everyone wanted to just contribute one of their family's favorite recipes, and in that we also put family pictures. So we got to send in the pictures. She had them published over at I don't remember, at Kinko's or somewhere. And then I think we all paid a few dollars for them, but I was so happy, and I wish I could get another copy or two, because I only got 2 copies, and now I have 3 children that don't have a copy. But that's a wonderful idea if you guys ever get a chance to do that, or even jot them down and make copies in your own handwriting, so your children and your grandchildren and anybody that cares about, the home and the family and all of that will have that. It's a wonder. We were looking through that too, and then just looking at my mother's siblings. They put a picture of all of my mother's siblings when they were children, and we were all just in awe of how much this one looked like their great grandson, or that one looked like their grandchild, because that skip a generation thing is absolute fact. So it was a great thing. It's a good idea to do something like that. I tell my kids, Lori says she tells my kids family traditions is everything. You need to keep your family strong. You're so right about that. You are absolutely right. Oh, thank you. Yes, I did write some recipes. I did. Yes. Thank you, Patsy. I do need to get more copies though, for sure. Kathy says, my mother taught me to do homemade veggie beef soup. Oh my goodness. I love soups. I wish she taught me to do the vegetable stuffed peppers. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. There's so many more things. Like, everyone was trying to do beans too. And everybody was saying, no, I put this and I put that. And then I yelled at my mom, what is it that you put? No, I don't put any of that. I just put this. So I was like, oh my gosh, we might have too many, spoons in that kettle right now, but we'll see what happens. But they turned out wonderfully. And definitely things like that are so important to find out. And sometimes you're surprised. Your grandma might just, cut a few corners. I think she's putting this spice and that spice. And if you'll recall, Patsy, Abuelita, the one we call Abuelita from my mother's side, from my dad's side, she was like, the only thing I put in my rice is seasoned salt. Remember? And we put this and that, and a little tomato sauce and whatnot. So they cut some corners here and there. Yeah, most definitely. Turkey. You're in Turkey. How are you? Thank you for being here. That sounds so good. It really does. Thanks, guys, for hitting that thumbs up. I do appreciate you being here tonight. Your mother-in-law taught you how to be a good mother-in-law. You have mentioned that to me, Miss Vanessa, and I think about that a lot. That is a really, really good point. Yeah, I remember you told me that, and you should do a video about that. You really should do a video about that. What she taught you. Those kinds of topics are important. I mean, honestly, because I have a wonderful mother-in-law, but I know many people that don't and have talked about not having a good mother-in-law. So that's definitely a skill where you learn how to, know your place, right? Know where not to tread. Absolutely. Let me see what other people are saying here. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Liz. It's so important to be able to get along with your in-laws for sure. Absolutely. Well, guys, I think we had a good chat for 30 minutes. I'm sorry I came on so late. Like I said, the internet really hates me this week. I don't know why. Last week, I'm going to go back and try to finish those invoices I'm trying to get out, finish the shipping I'm trying to get out, and all of that. But, I like to touch base with you guys as much as I possibly can. Yes, absolutely, Miss Phillips. As much as I can. And I think this heart-to-heart is so much, I don't know, I think it's kind of needed, because a lot of times we want to talk about things and, there could be an auction going on or something else, where the chat really, it's kind of not the place you want to bring up anything that you're really thinking about seriously, or melancholy things, or nostalgia or something. It's okay for a little while, but I really want to have a place for us to sit down and have sort of a heart to heart, as I called it. And, they'll sit around the hearth or something and just talk about things that are running through your head, like writing your own obituary, writing your own obituary, remembering loved ones, sharing what they taught you, making sure your kids or those that you love and care about know what you love and care about. I think that's really, really important. I think it's a good thing to bring up often. It doesn't always have to put a pall over everything, or like I said, when we got together with my family on Saturday, it was a sad day, but it was a happy day too. It was a good day. It was a day where we could all tell each other how much we loved each other, and not only tell each other, but show each other. When my mother got in that kitchen and started cooking, and my cousins started complimenting her and remembering this and remembering that. And, when you just remember that one ingredient, like my sister said, when I asked my mother, what did you put in that cream of wheat? Why was it so intoxicating? Along with 3 sticks, mind you, not powdered, but 3 sticks of cinnamon that my mother said she put in, my sister said she put in love. And that's absolutely true. Amen. That's all I can say. So I'm happy to see you guys here. Thank you so much. Be sure and hit the thumbs up on the way out. Come back for some fun jewelry videos. I hit the jewelry hoard big time, so we will be back with jewelry and fun and all of that good stuff. And I hope it's safe to go to more Goodwill outings. I will go when it's not too crowded and all of that. And hopefully I'll bring you some live videos from that as well. Thank you for joining me, Patsy. I love you. Give everyone my love over there. And all of my friends in the chat, you mean the world to me. That's why I really, really got to be here when I say I will be. All right. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.